What's up, Liron here, and in this video you're gonna learn how to mix beautiful dark rich shadows and black color using your primary colors or your secondary colors or just any color for that matter. Now you may have ran into this issue in the past. You're trying to get a dark value, a dark shadow, and you're using black paint and it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a part of the painting and you don't like the way it mixes with your other paints. So today I have the solution for you. I'm going to show you how I mix black paint that's harmonious, fits the color scheme and looks really good. I'm going to show you using some primary colors, secondary colors, complementary colors on the color wheel, and then finally we'll do a demo of this scene that you've seen in the past and how this concept fits into an actual painting. So let's get started. So we'll get started and I want to show you using some primary colors how I mix black, and I know that a lot of people have doubts. They don't believe it's possible, but I am going to prove them wrong. Okay, so first off, this goes to show you why I love colors that have a strong value range, because it means you can produce some very dark paints. Now here's an example. I'm just using blue. This is phthalo blue. It's a strong blue, so it already is quite dark. But if I'll add even just a bit of red to it, and you can not see the red, but the red is here. Notice how it warms things up a little. I'm actually going to refill it. I just filled it. I just almost used it up right now. And notice how black that is. I can even use a bit of yellow for balance sake. And it will green it out, but it'll still be quite black. Okay, let me show you once again. I'm going to clean up the palette and add some more paint to these wells. Now I also sprayed a bit of water on the paints to reawaken them. Let me show you once again. So the blue, so for example, phthalo blue, this is what it looks like when it's fairly watered down, okay? Now, if I use a bit of red, and also that's fairly watered down, not fairly, this is quite dark actually, but here we go with a bit of red. And the yellow is kind of like this, it's also very dark. If I'm gonna add some water, it will water down. So the moment I'm gonna start mixing those with larger consistencies, so for example, here's just blue and red and yellow, notice how dark it can get, okay? It can get super dark, and that's all you need to mix blacks. All of my blacks look like this. Now, if I want to have it cooler, I'm gonna add a bit more blue to it. If I want to make it warmer, I'm gonna add a bit more red to it. And if I want to make it kind of, you know, even cooler or just warmer in terms of the yellow can really play an interesting part. I don't know, it can give it a sense of light, but I still haven't decided if it cools it or warms it, because it kind of pulls it towards the green at times. And you push it into a little more yellow, and you get very interesting variations. I actually want to show you up close, and I don't know how well you can see, but notice how much of a variation you get here within the black. And this is so much interesting than just grabbing a bunch of, you know, for example, lamp black, as I shown you in the monochromatic session we just did a while ago, and doing it that way because it's boring. Let me show you. This is just, it's too perfect. You see, it's just a black that's a little too perfect for my taste. I actually wouldn't even mix that with my existing primaries, okay? Now we can do this also with, let's say, ultramarine, so not just phthalo blue. So I'm gonna get just a bit of ultramarine here. I'm gonna mix it up in a new area. So for example here, now with ultramarine it can't be as dark as phthalo, which is fine because we're gonna rely on the red for more of the darkness. Okay, so here we go, we get started. Still not as dark as you'd want it to. So I'm gonna add a bit more blue to it, and here we go. Now we're starting to get really dark here. And again, only by using 3 primary colors, you can produce beautiful black colors. And if I'll add a bit more yellow to it, then you're gonna get, you'll push the black bias more towards yellow. But that's all you need. Now I wanna show you the same thing with secondary colors, okay? So I have here 3 secondary colors. One is the quinacridone burnt orange, so that's kind of that. Another is the carbazole violet, which I love, and then now it's clearer why I love it. Look at it, it's almost black, like if you use it by itself. And then I have a bit of the undersea green, okay? So here we go, undersea green. I wet it thoroughly, it's a little drier inherently, and this is what you get. Now you can create, again, a black with each and every one of those, and if you look at them on the palette, the undersea green's a little lighter, but the rest are really, really dark. So I can push the undersea green to be almost black, okay? Almost black. It's still not gonna be as dark as this, but close, okay? Now I can take the Carbazole Violet. This one's going to be completely black with a bit of hint of the violet. Or alternatively, I can take the Quinacridone Burnt Orange. This will take some work, but it is possible to produce quite a dark value, as you can see. And if I mix all of these three together here, and it doesn't matter that I have some stuff on the palette as well, it's even better, because it goes to show you can use so many colors to mix a black color. Even if you're using 5 colors, 6 colors in a painting, you can mix them all. I don't necessarily recommend just mixing as many paints as possible for the sake of mixing as many paints as possible, but it is useful, but it does show you it's possible. Now if I'll add a bit more water to it, its true nature is going to be discovered. So you can see it's a bit of a purple, maybe with a bit of orange in it. You see? If I'll add more green, we're going to get a bit more green if I add more water to it. But if I just darken it enough, we're going to get black. And this is how I mix the interesting black paint. When I paint, I don't use pre-mixed black at all. Now I want to show you one more way of producing or mixing a black color, and the way this one works is it bases or relies more on the opposites of the color wheel. So if I'm going to use a bit of the Carbazole Violet and I want to neutralize it, because that's why I even use primary or secondary colors to begin with, so that it's not this kind of black that has a very strong violet bias, I can just add a bit of yellow to it from my Nickel Azo Yellow that I showed you here, Nickel Azo Yellow, Perylene Red, Phthalo Blue, and everything is going to be written down in the description box. But the moment I mix these two, I get a very nice gray because they're kind of opposites on the color wheel, okay? So that's another way to go. Another example of this would be the green and red. So let's just give it a try. If I'll get just a bit of sap green even, so a little sap green, then I'm going to add to it the Perylene, and you get what's close to black, and they should also neutralize each other to some degree. I'm also adding a bit of undersea green just to test it out, but you can see here they kind of create a brown because they're not perfect primaries or secondaries. And here you go, you get something that's a little more neutralized. So all of these blacks, supposedly colors, were made from primary and secondary colors, and this is the point of this video, to show you don't have to use a premixed black, and it's even better not to. So what I'm going to do now real quick is show you this practically as it happens within this painting process. It's that bowl of cherries I already painted several times. I'm gonna real quick fill in everything but leave just the background, the dark background untouched, and you'll see this in action. Okay, so here we go, quick demo. I got most of the details in for the cherries, and even within those details you can see almost blacks. But I want to show you how I'm just using individual colors at a time and getting this to look like almost black paint. So here's a bit of blue, and here's a bit of red. Now, using the paint straight out of the tube can be really helpful here. If it's just freshly squeezed, that's really useful, but you don't have to. You can use paints that have been on the palette and dried. You saw that works out with the secondary colors. Now a bit of yellow, and I'm just placing in the colors, and you can see how, let's mix a bit now. You can see how they look black in the context of the painting. So this is how I mix all of my black colors. No need for a black tube. No need for anything like that. Now again, there isn't nothing inherently wrong with that. My problem with using pre-mixed black paint is that it hurts the color scheme, because the black was mixed of different colors than what you're using. Here, you get a guarantee. The guarantee is that the black is gonna fit the color scheme that you've been using. And why? Because you're using the same paint to create the black. So if I used the Perylene Red to create the reds here on the cherries, I'm going to use that same Perylene Red for the shadows, then I know the result I'm going to get is harmonious. It's the same red. This is also why I generally love to use a minimal palette, okay? Because that simplification is really useful. And notice how this shadow really brings out the shape of the cherries, of the bowl, of everything. Now this shadow is missing, so I'm going to place that in the shadow inside. I'm not even worried about the slight variations in shadow. I just want you to see how the principle affects it. And you see? And I never ever used even once pre-mixed black paint for this one, and I really love the result. So I hope that makes things a little clearer, and with that we can wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope this convinces you to maybe give this a try and actually try mixing the black using your primary or secondary colors or any of the colors you're using for a given painting. This looks so much better, and it is possible. And by the way, it sheds some light on why I always emphasize that I love to use colors that have a large range of values, because that way I can produce my black colors using paints like Carbazole Violet and Phthalo Blue and even French Ultramarine and many other, Perlin Red, many other paints that can achieve that darkness. So I hope you'll give it a try. Let me know in a comment down below what you think, if you're already doing this, and if you did try it, how it went. Don't forget to like this video. This really helps YouTube share it with more people and thus helping my channel grow. And I am trying to get to and help many more people. And also subscribe and hit the bell button, because that's the only way of really getting notifications for new videos that are out. It's not enough just to subscribe, because YouTube doesn't really show my videos to all of the subscribers, and it's a shame. A lot of people miss them and say, I didn't get a notification. This is how. Hit the bell button. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again in another vid real soon.